Today's video is going to show you how you can get 26% more increased traffic to your Google My Business listing just by making sure that you've got a few citations, indexes, your Facebook is up to date, your Yale.com listing is also referenced, and all those reviews and that information comes together. And so even though Google My Business has its own ranking methods and it has its own review section, these other citations have a big impact on how Google ranks you. So rather than thinking all the time it's all about Google My Business, sometimes you need to focus on the things that support Google My Business. And this video is going to show you exactly how you can do that. In fact, I'm going to look at 3 methods with you today as to how you can make sure you've got the right listings, the right rankings, and the right ratings for your business and your brand so it can grow in the rankings in the coming weeks and months ahead. It's quite an interesting statement to say that Google's reviews are not everything. Most people tend to feel that if they haven't got a 4 or 5 star review, if they haven't got the maximum amount of reviews, then that's why they're not ranking. Well, I'm going to show you that that's not necessarily the case. You can see here that there's quite a lot of information that shows that it's not just that as part of the methods that Google uses to rank your Google My Business ranking or listing. So the score is one small element of it, but also what about the keywords? What about the reputation? What about the indexes? What are other people saying? What about the NAP, the name, address and phone number? All these things also add up to building up a reputation where Google will reward you by giving you a higher rank over your competitors. But of course, you need to know what your competitors are doing in the first place to be able to then rank above them. And so we're going to see how you can do that in a very easy way in a moment. So I'm going to jump on now to my computer and show you exactly what you need to do and 3 methods you can use to make sure you've got the right citations and indexes and improve your ranking. So let me show you how I check out the competition and also a few other little tips as well along the way. So first of all, you just look at your own business, just check to see what comes up for you. So I've typed in my business name here, and if I come down on the right hand side, you notice it picks up on my Facebook and my Yale.com. And if I open these up, so for example, if I go to my Yale.com, then that will give me a rating here. So this is based on what people have reviewed for me. It picks it up and then it takes it and then shows it here as well. And the same with Facebook as well. So if you wanted to get these up and running, then obviously you need to make sure you get reviews on these as well. So as much as I've got reviews here on Google My Business, and that's the main one that comes up, the 26% that I speak of is connected with these as well, which I'll come on to in a moment. Now, just a couple of little things as well, just to bear in mind. If you just put in categories like web designer for me, or reliable web designer, you notice that also the other citations and indexes also show up. So Trustpilot comes up, Star of Service, Yale. You just need to be aware that each of your business categories, each of your business types will have different type of results coming up in Google. And this just shows Google is not just looking at its own ranking, but it's also looking at all the other indexes and citations. And this is the 26% that people are forgetting about. I just look in competition end. So just give me an example here. So I just did a local computer shop, and they've got Yale.com. So Yale.com seems to be relevant to businesses like web designers, computer shops. What happens if you don't take any notice? Well, this person's got a couple of 5-star reviews, which is good, but there's no references there picked up as well. It just says 2 Google reviews. So if you've got nothing at all, then the Google reviews appear here. So it just makes a little bit more of an impact if you can see other reviews as well as your own. So let me just show you how you do this. If you're a solicitor, for example, so I typed in a solicitor, they got 72 Google reviews, they get Yale.com and Facebook as well. So now you might just think, is it only Yale.com and Facebook that appears under this reviews from the web? Well, here's another solicitor, and he's got a section called Review Solicitors. And if I go to another one here, you've got no reputation at all. So Review Solicitors, and Yale.com, Facebook seem to be the case for solicitors. Now, how do you get these then? Well, you can just click through. If you click through to his reviews, and while you're there, you can then register. And so if you're a solicitor, you just register with them. And then like these guys have done, they've got 3 reviews. You could just ask, even those that have given reviews before on Google My Business or on LinkedIn or on Facebook or on Yale, you could contact them and ask them, could they leave a review, even an identical review, or just change a few of the words, and could they put it there as well. Let me just show another category. If you're if you're a bar or a restaurant, so here's a local one. So do a search here. They've got good Google reviews. Notice they've got Facebook again. So Facebook pretty much comes up on everything, which is why Facebook is so important to get a good business page up and running for Facebook. But on top of that, Res Diary, Foursquare, 2 others. Again, just click through and register. Let's just look at some others. So here, book a table. The Fork, again, another restaurant here. Foursquare comes up again. Yale.com comes up. Restaurant Guru, another one, and so on. So Just Eat. So what I'm saying here is just make sure that you research and see what other companies are registering with. See what Google's picking up on this section here, and then go and register with all of them. So it may be that Google can only show 3 or 4 max. I think 3 or 4 is the most I've ever seen on this section. But that doesn't mean that just because they're not showing doesn't mean it won't affect your ranking. Google is looking at your perception and your trust and your authority, and all these things then will come together in that 26% ranking. If I was looking at cars, Facebook and Yale comes up again, but also Good Garage Guide is another one, and Check a Trade, Book My Garage, there's more. So if you're into cars, estate agents, just having a look at those. All Agents comes up as well for estate agents. Slay's Estate Agents, Yale.com, and All Agents, Get Agent. So plenty for estate agents as well. And we could go on and on, but the purpose is just find out what it is. Look, the way I do it is just do a search for local agents you're aware of, and there's the competition, see what they've been ranked on, and then continue to add to that. But that's the first thing to do. The second thing to do is to use a tool by whitespark, and it's a fantastic tool because all it is it just tells you, for example, if you were an attorney in the United States, then these are the ones you want to register with. Now, of course, I'm not an attorney in the United States, I'm in the United Kingdom. Now, the only thing is the categories are quite limited, but you just need to think about what category is relevant to you. Now, remember we looked at estate agents here and All Agents, Yale.com and so on. So let's imagine we're a estate agent or real estate in United Kingdom. So I'm just going to come down and see if we've got that. Real estate agents or agencies. So click that. And it now comes up, so Rightmove is important, and you notice Facebook comes up, Zoopla as well. So these are for basically all site types. But if you wanted to improve your citations, then these are extra ones here that will help towards giving you a good reputation. Now, many of these don't get picked up, but you may just want to just check to see. Things like Gumtree do get picked up. And that's one that could easily be missed. And so you want to just check those as well and make sure you register on those. Also things like Neighbourhood Scout is a realtor as well. There's another good one. But all of these, I mean, if you registered on even half of these, you're going to get a massive jump. I mean, 26% difference on just getting the right reviews, the right citations. That's a big chunk, as we've mentioned earlier on, in improving your ranking. Now, that's whitespark, which is the second one, which is a really good way of getting some extra citations above those ones that we've mentioned and the competitions that we've just seen. Here's the third one though. Bright Local also do some great tools. You can track your local citations, and this is more about making sure you've got consistency. So you'll know from my other videos the importance of consistency, but here they've got a tool that checks the local citations. You've got a 14-day trial. I'll put a link down below, and I'll also put a link to this a bit later on in the video. And also on top of that, Bright Local also run one here where you can just do a free scan, so you can try it for free, which again I'll put a link to. And I just run a scan just to see how accurate and where are my rankings. And this is again on the main ones, so like Facebook, like Foursquare. These are the ones that are being picked up in particular by Google. So remember earlier on we saw they've been picked up on here and on here as well. So this is just checking consistency, and you can do fixes as well if they're needed. Now, if you notice, Facebook is consistent with my Google reference and my Google input. Here, if it's in red, it means it's inconsistent. Now, sometimes there's nothing you can do about this. It's one of those frustrating things. I mean, that's exactly the same as this, but it's got the word Southbourne. And yet, actually, I do have Southbourne in these. So this isn't perfect by any means. Most of these are correct. This I've registered with several times and it doesn't seem to register correctly, and same with Cyclex. So there's only so much you can do, but you can certainly get as close as possible on these listings, these business listings here, to improve your search ranking. And when you put all that together, then you're going to get even greater review results and get a bigger impact on how Google ranks you amongst your competition. So in the video we mentioned earlier that there are many factors involved in ranking your Google My Business. And I want to reveal to you a bit more about what those sections are. And that 26% is just one part of the pie. What about all the other bits as well? Well, if you want to know more about local ranking factors, then I reveal all those things in this video here. But if you're just wanting to build up your reputation with Facebook and Yelp, particularly with Facebook Business, then head over to here and I'll show you how social media links can also benefit your ranking.